Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business Beyond 5 Business Talk Time. My name is Tracey Wilson, and a very happy New Year to everybody. I hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas and New Year celebrations, just like I did. I was just telling Mags about the I'm going to say small family gathering we had. And when I say small, we have, small to us is like 30 odd people, and large would be sort of 60 plus. So this year it was a fairly small gathering, but we had an absolutely awesome time. It's always great to catch up with loads of friends and family over the Christmas period. So I hope everybody is joining us safely. And you've started out the new year with an absolute bang. So this is the first of our blabs for the 2016 year, and we will be with you every Wednesday at 11:30, where we'll be talking with various different business owners, experts in the business field, coaches, etc., about how to help you grow your business and have the best year ever in 2016. And I'm really, really privileged today because I'm joined by I'm going to say a good friend of mine now, Mags Bell. Mags and I, over the last 12 months, have been in one another's company several times, and we always have an absolute blast when we get together, whether it be over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. There is never a dull moment, is there, Mags? We've always got something to say.
Never.
Yeah, and Mags has been doing some really exciting stuff and has got some, just like we had, some really great things happening throughout 2016. And it's a really opportune time, I suppose, for us to talk about how to take control, take the bull by the horns and take control of 2016 and have the best year you have ever had through maybe using some of the power of coaching. And we're going to explore today whether or not, what is coaching, and more to the point, what isn't it? What is it that Mags and I both do? And how can that impact your life? And can it make a big difference to the success and the outcomes and results that you can experience if you choose to take this on board? But before we get into all of that, there's a few little housekeeping things that we will just get out of the road. So the first one is welcome to all of you who've not been on Blab before, first timers. There are an opportunity for you to engage with us. If you've got any questions, please ask them. You have an opportunity to do so by typing /Q into the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. Type your question, and both Mags and I will make a huge effort to make sure that we answer all of those. And if you would like to, if you've experienced coaching yourself and you would like to share some of the insights that you've had, the benefits that you've experienced through working with a coach, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Mags or I. So any coach that you've worked with, what the benefits have been, please also feel free to click on the join us, and we'll open up a seat so that you can come on live and share your experiences. We'd love to hear those. The next thing is on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see that there's a couple of little icons, one that says tweet. So if you would love you to click on the tweet and let everybody know in the Twitter sphere that you're actually on live with us right now. And also on the right-hand side of that tweet button, there's a post to Facebook. So tell your friends, family, brother, sister, mother, father, and extended family and networks and fans that you're actually on live with us now too through Facebook. The other small thing that you need to know about, which we absolutely love, is the give props. So you'll see that in the bottom right-hand side of bottom right-hand corner of both Mags and I's video, that there are two little hands that look like so. If you like what we've got to say, feel free to give us some props. We absolutely love those just by clicking on the little hands, and that shows us some love. So that's all of the housekeeping stuff out of the road, a bit of a wrap up there, but we'll get kicked off and started. So welcome, Mags. Welcome to your very first Blab. Great to have you here.
Yeah, very first Blab. Thank you, Tracey. Thanks for inviting me, and thank you for introducing me to Blab. It's amazing.
It is, and you're going to love it. And I'm sure that I'm going to see you on this platform a lot more often now that you've been on once. It becomes a little bit addictive. But look, let's, both you and I, between the two of us, I think last count, I did a very quick calculation. I think between the two of us, we've got over 40 years of coaching experience in, both corporate world, the executive coaching businesses, et cetera, et cetera. So, great opportunity for people to ask us some questions. And today, I suppose the purpose is to provide everybody with an insight about, what is coaching, to give them an understanding of what it is all about, and potentially to help them to determine whether or not coaching is right for them. And if they decide that, yeah, actually, this is what I've been looking for, this is what I need to help to take me to that next level, to go beyond what I call beyond my, current limits, we're also going to give them some really practical steps about how they can go about finding a coach. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, look, let's firstly talk about what isn't coaching. Let's get that out of the road.
Yeah, it's been, I'll say the word bastardized for such a long time. It's a sexy title to put on the back end of whatever you do. And I know of some absolutely fabulous coaches, including yourself, Tracey, who do an amazing job and understand coaching. And then we've got people who just stick the name coaching at the end of what they do. And the thing is, a lot of us do quite a number of things. So the first thing I'd like to do is talk about what else is there, and then what is coaching.
Yes.
So, because that's what determines what you actually need. It may not be coaching you need, but you may need an element of it. So for me, it very much is, you have mentoring out there, you have consulting, you have training, you have counselling, and you have coaching. And there's a few other modalities as well. I think the biggest thing of all is understanding that coaching is something completely different from all of that, and that sometimes we use some other elements within our coaching when we're working in businesses. I've got a big thing about, I don't actually believe there's such a thing as a business coach. And that may come as a big, whoa, really? Because coaching is all about facilitating people's thought processes. So how can you coach a business? Right. So I have a bit of a problem with it. I know people use it, but for me personally, I actually don't coach a business. I coach the person within it.
Which is a really point, Max, that you make. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the first part is, if I am looking for systems in my business and to understand how business works a bit better than I'm doing, I'm running a business at the moment, it's doing quite well, but I've got to a certain level and I'm not sure what to do. And I've got so far with the knowledge I have and the skills I have, but what do I do next? And the thing is, what is it you need? Do you actually need a consultant who can come in and actually appraise your business, see what's there, what's missing, and then add that in? Or, and consultants are very much of the, let's see what you've got and I'll come up with the solutions, right? That's basically what's there. And then they may even give you areas of solutions to work with. When it comes to mentoring, for me, mentoring is all about, I have to have walked in your shoes before I can mentor you. And do I mentor? Yes, I do. Right. But I need to have walked in your shoes. And sometimes I haven't walked in someone's shoes. And that's where coaching is the element that comes in. Counselling is something that, yes, I have had certification years and years ago on how to counsel. I don't particularly like counselling. I think there's a time and place for it within a coaching environment. However, you have to draw a distinction between your skill level and also what you want to do and how you want to help the person. And if somebody is in that vein of needing to constantly go back in time because of some issue that they've had, then counselling is probably the best way to go. However, I have had clients who need to give me the background, need to give me context, if you like, on backstory, which is perfectly fine. And I'm able to, I have the ability to cope with that and work with that. But coaching for me is about drawing that line in the sand and actually looking at going forward. What do you want to do to go forward? And where do you want to get to? And then we facilitate the thought process as to how you're going to do that. And you, I know, work very, very similar to that, Tracey. It's why we love each other's company because we get the distinction of all of that, and we use different elements within our business. But it's actually very important for other people to understand there is significant difference between all of those and what is it you actually need, or do you need a combination?
Yes, and I think there's a real skill too, where, I mean, I know there's a lot of coaches out there that will do a specific thing. And I think the you know, depending on the requirements of the client as to, you know, once they understand what it is that they actually want and need, then they, and we'll go into all of this, they can then determine what type of coach they are actually looking for. Do they need somebody? And in a lot of cases, you know, the big, I'm going to say the big buzz thing at the moment is marketing. You know, everybody wants to learn how to make more sales. Well, you know, that's one aspect of the big picture. So, and if that is yes, all you need, then for sure you will go and find somebody who has the specific skills around marketing. But if you actually have, you know, other areas that you want to work on, whether it be you as an individual in your business for the betterment of your business, or for the person you're working for, or for your life, or whatever it may be, then you may actually need to find somebody who has a broader breadth of skill. And that might include some elements of, yes, coaching, yes, consulting, yes, mentoring, and also somebody that might even be able to provide you with some specialist advice in a particular area. So I think it's I think that's really important that you know, you as the person trying to find the right coach, that you understand the distinction between all of the different services available, and that your coach also understands what it is that they are providing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it has been too easy for people to throw on. And as you said, marketing, it drives me mental when I see marketing coach. I mean, how can you coach marketing? You can't. You have to give the knowledge. So you actually give the knowledge to someone. In coaching, you're extracting the knowledge. You're actually letting people get to a level of understanding that they actually have the knowledge already there. So, you know, for me, again, you can't have a marketing coach, and yet they're out there. Whereas you can have a marketeer who coaches. Now, that's a different thing entirely. And they may use that skill very well once they've taught somebody how to do it, is then coach them along that process. And that's the important distinction. It's one that the coach understands that distinction, because some don't. And also that the person who needs whatever it is understands what it is that they want and need. Because some of us really don't like being told anything.
Well,
unless we ask.
That's another interesting thing, right? Because the question would be too, is coaching for everybody?
I believe it is for everyone who is ready for it. Because not everyone wants to be coached.
So in, you know, right now, there will be people sitting out there who are, you know, maybe feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm ready. I want to take my life, my business. I want some form of personal development. I want to go to the next level, but I just don't quite know how. They're the ones that we're saying, hey, you're ready. You want this, you need this. But then there's others who, you know, might be having, let's say, call it struggles, challenges, whatever, you know, the case may be, but they don't want to listen to anybody else. They can do it their own. They're a lone ranger. They're happy to go, you know, solo. If that's the case, then I would say, no, coaching's not right for them just yet, or at this time.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't know about you, Tracey, but I can say most definitely for me, I was never a natural coach. I'm a tell person. I'm in that box of doer. So, give me something, I'll do it. I'll action it. I'll get it done. I may miss the detail, but I'll actually do it. However, I don't particularly like being told what to do, but I'm happy to tell everybody else how they should do it. So that's my natural skill. I then learned that other people were not like that, and that was a bit of a what. And then I started to grow and develop, and that was when I realised that I needed to come up with the answer myself. And the other thing is, I remember teachers way back. Those really great teachers that I had were imparting knowledge and coaching at the same time. And I think, if you're at that stage where you really do need help, you do want help, but it's been really difficult for you to accept it. And just as an offshoot, this year, my motto, last year was let it go because I am a control freak. This year, my motto is receive and flow. Now, I'm able to take. I'm happy taking. However, receiving is a different thing entirely. And until you're ready to really receive and allow yourself to be open and to trust someone, because your coach needs to be very trusting individual with you, confidential, that you do open up. And then that's when things really magically happen, because it's often, as I say to clients, you're here, that little thing around you is actually your comfort zone. We want to get you way, 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 way out there, and take you outside your comfort zone as often as possible, but in a comfortable environment that you're able to go there, knowing that you're being supported, knowing that in actual fact, that's where the magic happens. Yes. So it's that cradle, if you like, taking you there, but it's not as scary because you don't have to go alone.
Yeah. I mean, I know in our coaching, or my coaching practice, we talk about providing people with, the right level of support, that they get the development that they need, and that there's also an element of advice. So, it is about giving them them feeling as though they can really trust you. You've got their back. You understand their business. You've taken the time to understand, which doesn't just mean showing up. It means, you've got to listen. You think, and it's not just listen to the spoken word. It's, really listening.
It's what's not being said, Tracey, that is actually the best coaches are the ones who hear what's not being said.
So you're listening with your eyes as well as your ears, and all of your senses. Trying to get really in tune with it. Sounds a little. My husband said, "Oh, a bit hairy-fairy." Sounds hairy-fairy, but it is being in the moment, being present with that person, understanding what their challenges are, but also then understanding the root cause of something. So the cause, not necessarily the effect, and we call it that.
Yes, that's my biggie. There is many coaches out there. I think in some cases, because they may not be as experienced, if you like, and sometimes it's just because they think that's it. They just constantly go on the effects, and it's like fires. So the first effect pops up, and they sort that out. So I have a problem with members of staff. Okay, so then you fix that one. Well, I can't believe it. This person's left the company, so we deal with that one. I'm not happy about the way that these people are doing, and then you sort that. And all you're doing is firefighting. Now, there's a reason behind some coaches wanting that, because it actually keeps them in the job. And I'm being very cynical, because it's not all coaches. There's a lot of coaches out there who it's just about getting that person to where they need to be. And then I'm doing myself out of a job. That's what I should always be doing, is doing myself out of a job. So when you get that in your head as a coach, you're then able to really dig down deep into the cause, because there's much more of a cause going on rather than all these fires and effects popping up. And just to deal with the effects, you'll be there for a long time, and the person won't feel they're in control. They should be in control of their own problems so that they can sort them out themselves, and then all of a sudden they can deal with all sorts of things that come along. So I love what you're saying, and it's why I love speaking to you, because we come off the same page. It is cause every time.
And a lot of, I think from a coach, I'm going to speak from a coach's point of view too now, when you can get to the root cause of a problem, and you can help somebody resolve that, become a better person, maybe change some behavior, and you then see the result, not just a quick fix result right now that's happened today, but you actually see that, and you actually see it in all of their language, what they're doing. You see a whole transformational shift take place, and over time, I always see the person, there's just something about them. They seem to the light becomes brighter from within, that they're able to do, the questions become few and far between, because they get to a point where they're able to internalize, what do I need? They start asking themselves some of the questions that you or I may have started asking them to begin with, and to get them to externally verbalize what's going on and why is this particular thing happening, to a point where they're actually asking themselves. And all of a sudden, I know you talk a lot about the inner critic, that little voice that's inside of your head, and I think statistically, I think something like we have 50 to 60,000 thoughts a day, which is huge. We're constantly thinking about things, and if I remember rightly, the vast majority, I think it's something, don't quote me on this, but it's something like 80% of those thoughts are negative. That's statistically. That's what happens.
I think that depends. I guess it is one of my hobby horses. That and values are my two hobby horses, really. I think when it comes to the inner critic, and this is where I suppose my work developed over the years, I personally suffered badly, and I was at the top of my game. I mean, I was winning all sorts of awards and all sorts, Tracey, when I actually allowed my own personal inner critic, nobody else's. Nobody was actually, they were all saying, look at what a great job, and here's honours to go with that. But it wasn't good enough for me. And this is where the control freak part really took. And it's something that business owners in particular have to worry about, because normally if you go into business, it's because you have that get up and go, that push, etc. But what we do have to watch is we have to watch that inner critic, because it made me extremely ill. And I had to work out, how do I change this? Because this is behaviour, and I'm massive on behaviour. It was a behaviour that I was causing ill to self, because I was constantly in here saying that's not good enough, regardless of what anyone else said. No celebration. And particularly when you're a business owner, there's very little celebration. You don't stop to celebrate. And that's what a coach is wonderful for having, because in the midst of everything, and you'll know those moments where they'll be talking and they just say blah, blah, and it's just a matter of fact. And they go on to the next thing and say, whoa, back. What did you just say? And all of a sudden they're saying, and you go, do you realize how amazing that is? Because there's no one else reflecting that back at them. And when we allow that inner voice to run riot, it can cause us massive problems. We may think we've got it handled, because I did, but we don't. And it was when I came up with the 4-hour release model, I was dedicating myself to what is it that goes on in there, and how does that affect the body? And the other thing, of course, is the 3 brains that we have in our body, and we have to link those 3 brains up. But most of the time in our businesses, we're in here only, and we have to go away from that and link all 3 brains, and that's what we're not good at. I'm glad to say my 4-hour release model actually links all of those up to help stop that inner critic. But it's massive, and if you've got somebody there who's able to get you connected with the real you, and celebrate those moments, that can be worth its weight in gold, as it is.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I think I'm going to say, especially now, there's this whole, I mean, like what we're doing now, social media has almost taken this to the next level. People having that inner critic or inner voice, and then you jump on something like Facebook, and all of a sudden there's all these wonderful things that are happening in people's lives, and they're on holidays, and they're looking wonderful, and wow, they always look amazing. Their life must be fantastic. And the number of people, I mean, it happens, right? And then people are sitting there going,
yeah,
oh my God, man, my life's not as good as that. So then the inner critic starts, yeah, that's right, you're not that good. Yeah, you should be doing that better. All of those voices start to rear their ugly head again. And so you did right. Our job in a lot of cases is to hold up that mirror and say, but hey, this is what's, reflect this back. This what you're seeing right now is actually really good. You've done a fantastic job with whatever it was. Just stop for a minute, take stock of what you've actually, the progress that you've made and the amazing achievement that you've just had, and pat yourself on the back for a moment. And all of a sudden, by changing that behaviour or having that moment of, actually, yeah, damn straight, I did a good job with that, give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, it silences that inner critic, even if it is only for momentarily.
I think, I mean, you hit on a good point. It's not even social media alone. If you go to networking meetings, you either only ever hear how great somebody's business is going, or you hear how bad it is. Right? You never hear a happy medium in between. So you then start to compare, and that's the biggest problem that we have as human beings, the comparison and the expectation. If we can sort that out, that's what makes life much easier, and we actually concentrate on what we're trying to do. And that's where a coach really keeps you accountable to that, and that's where your progress really rockets. Because as much as we would like to think that we can do it and we can keep ourselves, and I'm fairly good at having targets and meeting them and doing, there's nothing better than having somebody else there to hold you accountable to that. And I've spent my life having other people there to do that, because I know I'm much better when somebody says, so you have that done by when?
And we laugh about it too, don't we, Max? But I mean, even you and I, we do that with one another too. And there are some guys that, I mean, there's one that even that's on Slack right now who's listening. But, I have an accountability group outside of, a masterminding group that I have, and we keep one another accountable. And I know, I mean, in your book, I think it says, by the way, guys, Max has a book. So here we go. It's called What the Bleep is Coaching. Love that title, by the way.
Yeah, I actually, the reason I came up with it was I had so many people saying, what the, but we won't go into that, is this coaching thing you do. And it was, I got so fed up of it that I thought I need to write something to highlight to people what. And the worst thing of all is, when I first started writing the book, Tracey, it was as boring as batshit, because I was writing away and I realised that it was just all about coaching. And I thought, no. So I then went and interviewed people who I had coached to find out their story. And because everyone's story is so unique, because we are all unique human beings, out came 9 case studies. And that's what they got from coaching. So it became a better read, because it's stories that people are reading about other people, and they can identify with different ones. That's me. Oh God, that's, oh yeah, that, no, I don't have that. Oh yeah, that's, so they can really get a feel of, okay, so this coaching thing might work. And it wasn't about, the book isn't, I said at the front, it's not about me as a coach. It's actually about, can coaching help you? That's what it's really all about.
Absolutely. I mean, I did read that in the beginning of your book, Max, where you said, I sat down, I started to write, and thought, oh my God, this is a load of absolute rubbish. So up it went, scrunched in a pile, and straight to the rubbish bin. And I think you got it in, I call it a hole in one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start again. But again, that's obviously as you went through that process, you're probably doing a bit of self-coaching there. You know, does this feel right? It didn't feel right.
Well, it was back to the reason for doing it. You know, because I can write all day about coaching, but in actual fact, that the title says all. It's what the bleep is coaching. So I needed people to actually understand, not from a technical point of view, not from a this is how coaching is done. You know, if people want to, there's tons of books out there that, you know, take you through coaching, and if you want to become a coach. But this was very much more on the level of people who weren't sure if coaching was the right thing for them. You know, and I need to get into the nitty-gritty of what's the easiest, cheapest way for me to do that. All right, well, if I buy that book, there's a good chance actually I'll get to understand if it would work for me. And for some people it won't. So I'd much rather they get that at an earlier stage in a book than actually spending a lot of money on a coach and finding out that wasn't what they needed.
Absolutely. And we're going to get a little bit further on. So by sort of 12:30, we would have given everybody some resources as to where they can go to really understand whether or not they should, by the time they leave here today, you will know whether or not coaching is for you. And if you need to explore this further, we're going to share with you where you can get some more resources from. So let's get stuck into that now, Mag. So finding the right coach. So once somebody's determined that, gosh, I really do want to go to the next level, I'm not quite sure how to do this on my own. I've sort of heard about this coaching thing, and now Tracey and Mags have sort of given me a bit more of an insight into, you know, what it's all about. And we're going to say that you may not just need coaching. You may also require a consultant. You might require some mentoring, so on and so forth. So it goes without saying, you may require some of that, and both Mags and I can help you either with that ourselves or find people that can. So let's talk about how to find the right coach. And I know, we've come up with 6 steps, really. There's 6 sort of fundamental, critical things that somebody can do to find the right coach for them. So let's talk through. What those are, Mags.
Well, the first thing is what you really, as an individual, have to work out what is it you are trying to achieve through it. So if it's growth of yourself, growth of a business, then you really need to find a coach that understands business. And I think so many people I've heard so many people say, I've spent so much money and it was a waste of money, and I got nothing from it. And that could mean a few things. It can mean you chose the wrong coach. Maybe it wasn't coaching you needed. The other thing is you weren't ready. You didn't want to do it. You just thought, if I spend some money, then maybe somebody will do it for me. So it can mean lots of things, and you have to really go into yourself on what is it you really want to achieve from this, because that will determine what it is that you are, where you need to go. So that's the first step. And within that, if it's a business that you have, if it's business things, but you also need to grow and develop, then you probably need a coach with business skills. If, on the other hand, it is something like I need more leads in my business, then that's marketing. So you really need to know what it is in your business, and if it is a marketeer that you're looking for, then do you want one that has some coaching skills? So you need to know what questions to ask them to work out what those coaching skills would be. But you might just want somebody to tell you or to do. And if you want somebody to do, then it's not coaching. You
need to find a consultant who has the skills to be able to go away and do what it is that you require them to do and deliver that back as a completed product.
Absolutely.
Yes. So I suppose, it's step 1. So decide what it is that you actually want to achieve by understanding what issues you have that require dealing with. So you might even just sit down initially. I mean, this is an exercise that I've had people do. Just sit down and go, okay, well, not that we want to dwell on the bad, but just, what comes to mind? What what is frustrating me right now? What challenges am I having? What keeps me up at night? They can sort of just jot those down. That really often helps to determine, again, what is it that they need or require? Is it that I need somebody, a coach, to help me make the decisions that I need to make, to dig deep and find the answers from within? Or do I need a coach? Do I need a consultant and a mentor, somebody that's going to do it for me, somebody who may even be able to teach me how to do it? So that would be it's a really good little exercise to do. And you touched on that whole business piece, and I know we've got an accountant who has joined us today, and he and I have this conversation often. But I think if you are having somebody come in that and you've got a business and you need somebody to help you with that, you want coaching, mentoring, consulting, whatever that may be, they need to be somebody who actually understands, as you've rightly put, understands business. Do they know how to read a balance sheet and accounts? And that whole cause and effect thing, it is very, very relevant to business as well. You know, if you've got, you know, if there's a surface problem that you are seeing, you can often find out by looking at the systems, the processes, and even, you know, the last year's balance sheet and accounts to determine what is the root cause of this. What is happening here? And I can often look at a balance sheet and account and go, oh, that's a problem. Right. So let's just, you know, explore this a little further. What's actually really happening here?
Yes. And I think it's, I mean, some people are just absolutely fantastic at running the number side of the business, just absolutely wonderful at it. But they're absolutely useless at the people side. Right. And some people are great at the people side and absolutely useless at the numbers. And when we work on the bits that we're not as good at, we can bring ourselves up, or at least get somebody in the business that does. But you're absolutely right, Tracey. When you really look at the coach that's coming in, if that coach doesn't understand business in its full right, and I mean, from my point of view, I came from corporate and then I went into large business. So corporate was even bigger, and then there was the large. Then I went into small, 5 mil to 25. And then I started my own micro business. Oh my God. I actually thought I understood business. What a naive thing to think, because I had systems and processes behind me that I just used every day. You know, accounting, yeah, I'll go to the accounts department. Fleet, yeah, I'll go to the fleet guy. Yeah, so I had all of this, even in the sort of small 5 to 10 mil business. Then micro, it's like, oh my God. So I've got accounting. Oh, right, that's me. And marketing. Oh, right, that's me. Delivery. Oh, yeah, that's me. Oh, sales. And all of a sudden, all the fingers are pointing at you. So even you. So it's the understanding of, you might not know everything within your business, but at least if you can bring people into your business who have a broad aspect of what it needs and who are able to connect you with the right people to actually help your business grow. You know, that's usually where people get stuck, because they've got it to a certain point, but they can't get it past that. And as a fresh pair of eyes coming in, it can be as obvious as they don't get cash flow. They seriously just think if cash is coming into the business, that's fine. Or if revenue, and look at my turnover. My turnover's, you know, 10 mil. Look at how I've reached 1 mil turnover. Great. Yeah, but what's your profit on that? Well, I don't know, but I'm getting 1 mil in the door. Well, that's great. There's 1.5 million going out, you know, so it's the getting somebody who understands where you're at and what you want from, that then elevates you to the next. And it's not that coach has to have every single element. It's that it's a bit like a GP, a general practitioner, where we understand a lot but can actually connect you with those experts who are good at doing certain things to help you move to the next level, as well as getting your head in the right space to accept that help. So that's the receiving again, and not just taking, you know, actually receiving it and actually what I call coaching is all about self-awareness. So actually lifting your awareness of self and the others around you, that's what makes it tick so well.
So yes, it's having that conscious awareness of, where am I at? Where's my skill level? And as you say, being willing to accept and receive assistance from others. But also finding a coach that is not precious about that too, because that's, can be, they may not know, as you said, they'll be a general practitioner. They may know lots about lots of different things, but also have the networks to be able to connect you with other people and be willing to allow other people to come in to help, because it should always be for the betterment of the client, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's where, if you know what you want to achieve, it assists a coach greatly. Because I often talk about, when I'm sitting in front of people and we're discussing coaching, there's two elements to it. One, am I the right coach for you for what you're after? So that's the first part. But the second part for me is, do you fit similar values to mine? Because if you don't, the coaching element just won't work right. Because I'll be the worst coach you've ever known, and I can't get it, and I don't know, and you'll become the worst client for me. And I learned that through experience. So I know my values inside out. I know what will work and what won't. So it's really easy for me to determine, would we work well together in a partnership? Because that's what it is. It's a partnership to help you and your business get to the next level.
Absolutely.
From my point of view, when it's life coaching or you've got various other coaching elements out there, that's a different thing. But I'm only speaking from my own experience of helping you and your business get to the next level.
And that is really, that is extremely important, that not only does the individual know what it is that they want, need, but that the coach also knows, what it is that they can offer. What type of clientele do they want to work with? Who do they best fit with? Because, as we know, you're not going to fit with everybody. And in our business, we have what we call a love it or leave it guarantee. So if somebody came to us, and we have a process that we go through, and very seldomly do we need to use this, because most people will continue with us. But on the odd occasion that somebody works with us for 30 days, and we find that, for whether it's on our part, it's not, we're not feeling it, it's not quite gelling, or on their part, it doesn't fit, the relationship's not right, we don't charge, and we'll also help them to find a coach that's better suited to them. So I think that's, that's really important. I feel that, we stand by that, that your coaching practice has something of that nature, and that you have a big enough network to be able to refer them to other coaches that have skills in different areas. Just like you and I, we're both coaches, but we're not in competition with one another, because we do similar things, do it slightly differently. We're on the same page, but not everybody is going to resonate and want to work with me, and likewise with you. So we have a relationship where we're able to, refer a customer on if we need to.
Yeah, and I think that is very important for the people out there who are interested in, should I have a coach or will I go? What you want to achieve from that coach is also what they can offer, you. And if they're the type of coach that say things, and there is many of them out there, as you know, who say, yeah, I can work with anyone. Now, as a coach, yes, I can, in a yes, I can sense. However, I wouldn't want to, and they want to work with me. I'm quite a challenging coach, because I'll make people do things outside their comfort zone. And I don't mean I make them, I tell them. I mean, I'll help take them out there, and I'll hold them there, and I'll let them see the mirrors, and they don't like looking in them, and I'll hold the mirror up, just the same as you do, Tracey, because I know how you coach. And good coaches do that, and hold it there long enough for them to get the feel of, yeah, I don't like what I'm seeing, but I know that's true. Now we can move forward. So you really need to know what it is you want and what you're trying to achieve before you can go any further.
Yes, most definitely. So that sort of covers off point one, or step one, is, really understand take the time to, preparation is everything. Take the time to understand what is it that you want. You know, peel back the onion layers and try and get to the core of that.
Can I just say at this point, for those people out there who may be listening that had any bad experience with a coach, my big question is, how did you hire them? Because I bet you it's been somebody they've been talking to who said they can help them, and the next minute they're there, and then they waste a lot of money. And we don't put enough effort into recruiting a coach for us that you would recruiting someone for your business. And don't get me wrong, there's some people who hire slow and fire fast, which is the opposite way. Jack Daly always says, hire slowly, fire fast. And it's a wonderful thing. That is how it should be. But a lot of times what we do is we hire fast as a coach, and then it takes ages for you to fire the coach, and you complain like hell about it. So being really clear up front about what you want, and the second point being that you actually write a checklist of what you want from that coach, making sure you go through, you know, what knowledge, what experience, what things do I need? What's the technical abilities that you need from that? How much contact do you want? You know, all of that, everything that goes into it, you need to be actually writing that checklist.
And you know, how do you prefer to be coached? Do you want to actually sit across a table, you know, face to face? Is something like this okay? Are you happy with video conferencing? Do you want to, are you happy to do a self-paced coaching program? There's a lot of those out there, and you know, I've got one of those being launched in the next 6 weeks. So there are all sorts of different mediums that one can use to tap into some form of coaching. But the key is to understand which is the right one for you, because you know, an online program may not be. You might be somebody who prefers to have that person being able to eyeball them face to face, not virtually, face to face, sitting across the table. You want them to actually come into your business, see what's going on, ask questions, show me, you know, show me how this works, actually be able to talk with your staff. So again, it's understanding, you know, not just what you want to be coached on, but how do you want to be coached, and how frequently.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think also to be guided by the experience of the coach on frequency, because, you know, some people might say on a couple of monthly basis, or, you know, because I'm really busy. The problem with that is if you leave it too long, coming from an experienced coach, and I've done it in so many different ways, Tracey, as I'm sure you have over the years. If you leave it too long, it's too easy not to do. So it's going with that. I know what I want, and then discussing that with a coach of how they do it and the reasons why they do it, because they may come up with a different reason, and you may go, yeah, okay, I get that, or you may go, no, this is what I want. So that coach is not going to be for you. So you're making sure you know what you want, and that you would be open to whatever's been said, depending on the experience of that.
And I'm also going to add to that. So at the beginning of your relationship, you often talk about these things. So how often do you want to be coached? What sort of things are top of mind for you right now? So on and so forth. But you also want somebody who is going to have a level of flexibility. You know, it's not set in concrete. We will only coach, you know, once a month at this time. If there's something that crops up, are you the sort of person that needs to be able to not be on the phone to them every 5 minutes, but be able to pick up the phone and have a conversation? And if that's the case, you know, asking those sort of questions right at the outset really helps to set the rules of engagement, or the relationship right up front. Because I think that's important, because as you're going through the journey of coaching or consulting, whatever it may be, what you originally set out to do may have changed, and you may actually require somebody to keep you accountable more. You might need that accountability to move forward. I need to do this within a week. So that means, Mags, I need you to keep me accountable. It's got to be done in a week. 1 month is too long. I will have missed the boat if I wait that long. So, talking about that.
And again, I think that it's a really important point, Tracey, because being an old hat at this, I'm not going to be sitting on your back doing stuff. I expect you to take accountability for you. So I do it in a very different way to a lot of coaches, and that might not suit some people. You know, some people might need somebody bang, 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 bang at them. I'm more, you let me know when you've done it. I will no doubt know that you haven't. But most people, because they know what I'm like, wouldn't dare not do it in the time that they agreed that they wanted to do it in. So, and it's not, I don't have to threaten people or do anything like that. It's just, they know what they want. They know what they want to achieve, and they're able to do it. But there is some people out there who need their hand held more. I'm not the coach for them. You know, so it's very much understanding what you need and what that coach can provide. Absolutely.
Yeah, where our we in that scenario, we are slightly different in that sense that yes, it's all about you. The only person that can make real change is you. So, you know, we're all about somebody taking responsibility. And if you say you're going to do something, you do it you do it. Because if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. You know, change isn't going to happen. You've only got to put it out there. You only got yourself to blame for that. However, if somebody does require, you know, some sort of reminder, or, you know, I've got people that will be on the phone and say, hey, how did you get on with such and such? Did you manage to get that done? But that's not to say that we will do that all the time, because it is, you know, you get sick of doing that on someone's case all the time. Have you done it? Have you done it? Have you done it? Well, you don't want to do that. Nor do they. They don't want to receive that.
And I think many years ago, that was precisely what I would do. But the problem was I was actually causing people to be dependent. And of course, coaching is about being interdependent and independent. So interdependent with your team, but independent in your own right to actually you'll be accountable to you, but have somebody there that will hold you accountable each time you sit down. And being that they know it's going to come up, they do it. You know, business owners are the worst in the world, because we ourselves have so much to do that it's easy to let those things go. The great thing is that I notice is they set themselves a task to do or something that they want to achieve. They don't do it and ask, you know, oh no, I'm going to do it this. And if they do it for the second month, for me, it's like, okay, what's the real reason behind this? It's back to the cause. There's a cause of why you're not doing it. Not that it's just a task that you probably do easily. What's the real? Do you really want to do that? So it's knowing what you want and what actually you want from your coach. If you're clear on that, then it'll become much easier to work out which is the right coach.
Definitely. So which brings us to point 3, which is do your research.
Which most people don't bother their arse.
And it goes back to your comment before about, you know, hire slow, fire fast, and you made a really good point before too about someone saying, "Oh, I've had a coach before and it just didn't work. What a load of rubbish." And it comes down to doing all of these things that we're talking about today. You know, being clear on what it is that you want, being able to ask the right questions of the coach. Can they provide what you're looking for? Doing your research. So not just, you know, taking you know, someone's word for it. Actually do some research.
Find out what other people are saying about them. You'll find that, just Google them. Other people are there, and you'll see how much you can see from their experience what they know, what they don't know. And ask around, you know, if ask the coach to supply you with people that they've coached, because you shouldn't have any problem, you know, finding people. If somebody's got a problem of finding that, then you know that there's a major problem behind that.
And yeah, look at their testimonials and ask, you know, you've had this testimonial from XYZ person. Would it be okay if I called them? No problem with that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the next point that we'd like to make is around preparing well for the interview. So this is a great one, because, you know, you wouldn't go to a job interview, right, and just turn up and not be prepared with something. So you know, when you're hiring a coach, I'm going to say, I feel as though I'm part of that person's business. I'm on their team.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they're hiring me. They're hiring me for. I become part of their team. I'm not somebody aloof that just sort of comes and goes occasionally. Their team knows me. I have conversations with them. If I have to, you know, in some of the cafes and restaurants that I've worked in, if I see something, I'll fix it. I'll serve their customers. That gives me a really good insight into what's going on here. Why is that? Why has that happened? And it allows me to ask some questions if I see anything like that. So preparing for the interview is really important.
It's one of my bugbears because, to be honest with you, as business owners, sometimes we don't even prepare for great interviews that we're going to bring people into the business full stop. So I can't just say this is for coaching. Prepare well for every interview you're bringing somebody in. It also will depend on how much you want them to be part of your business as well. And some people, it's for you, regardless, as a business owner, you want them to be part of you and your business in some sort of way. So it is really important that they're a fit. And that's a cultural / values fit. So that's one of my biggies. I could do a whole section on values, vision and purpose stuff. But if we don't actually know our own values, how can we bring people into our company that fit similar values? And we wonder why when we interview people and we bring them in and the gut brain has already told us at the interview there's something about this person, but we overwrite it with this head brain and we say, yeah, they fit the criteria.
Yeah.
And get them in the door and bang, you go, I knew I shouldn't have. I knew that. My gut was telling me. We do it all the time. So the prep for it is prepping that you actually understand what your values are, because you want people in with similar values to your company because you're the one running it. Secondly, I would say that you need to have your checklist, do all your stuff, have everything written that you want from that, and choose the day and the slot that you're not going to be interrupted, that you actually do have time to actually spend. This is an investment, and sometimes, and particularly in my case, in your case, it can be big investments that people are making. But the big thing is they should be getting that plus out of it.
Yes.
So if you're going to do that, you really need to prepare for the interview really well. So, as far as I'm concerned, if you're not preparing for that interview, if you're just going along and just saying, so what can you do for me, then you deserve everything you get. You really do. And if it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you, then you deserve that. Yeah. Because I'm not here to sweet talk people into, coaching's just a wonderful thing, we'll do wonders for you. If you don't take accountability and getting the right person in that door, forget it.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm going to say too, it's not important just to prepare for the initial interview. It's important to prepare for every session. Go in prepared. Yeah, if you know what it is that you want to achieve out of every session you have with your coach, you're going to walk away with, and get accelerated results. It won't just be floundering, meandering along. When we might talk about this today, actually really take the time to think about what I want to achieve. What's burning at the moment.
And I have no doubt you do the same with your clients as I do. I mean, for my clients, it's they send me the stuff the night before that they want to be talking about, so that when I am prepping, I'm aware of where are they right now in their headspace and what is it they really want to get into the nitty gritty of tomorrow.
Yes.
So because the more prepared you are for your sessions, the more you get out of it. There is no doubt about that. And I've seen it. I've seen people sitting in a session and we dig and we get somewhere, but it's not as effective as it is when you actually really prepare well and you know what you want.
Yes, definitely. Right, so that sort of covers off point 5, which is conduct interviews. And the 6th point is the follow-up. And I'm going to say, actually, we did miss something, Mags, in the interview.
Yeah.
It's not just interviewing one. You may interview several. You know, and just like you would interviewing a candidate for your business, you will shortlist. And this brings us, which is a great segue, to the next piece, which is follow-up. So you may need to go back. You might need to reiterate something. You might need to clarify something. So yeah, let's talk about the follow-up piece.
Yeah, it should never be a one interview, and that's usually where people make the mistake. You know, you should be selecting a few candidates there and shortlisting them down to the last two, and then working out from there which one. Undoubtedly, I totally agree with you on that. And the follow-up, however, usually is so bad, because usually it's just one person, so yeah, let's work together. Sometimes it's actually you've had a couple of people, so you phone or you contact the person you've decided to take on, and you do that. And what happens to the other? The other has no idea what happens. So for me, you know, every candidate that you have interviewed, you should be phoning the unsuccessful ones and just explaining to them why. So that means that you put a lot more effort into the reasons why you're selecting one versus the other. And then from there, so that people know not to bother you and you ignore the phone calls. It's manners. You know, and this comes from candidates as well. Either you or somebody within your organization should be phoning any candidate to tell them that they haven't, and here's the reasons why. And if they wish more feedback, to contact you. And if you're not good at doing that, find somebody in your organization that is. And if you're not good at it, you should be getting better at it, because it should be part of a leadership role that we're able to feedback better. So for me, that's the biggie. And then phone the person who's actually got it and tell them why you've selected them and that you're looking forward to and what's the next step to take.
Absolutely. And I think you also mentioned something there, Max, about, you said leadership.
Yes.
And I think a big, I'm going to go there, because I think the biggest thing that I've certainly seen when I've been working with clients of mine is the transformation from manager to now I'm a leader.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a big difference, and it goes back to even, you know, the telling, that whole telling piece. You do it this way. You know, and ticking a box and all that sort of thing, too. People really are looking for strong leadership, and and as a coach, you know, that's our job too, is to step up, be a leader, and show our clients the way, and behave in a manner that is, you know, with integrity.
Yeah, and the best leaders coach. They don't actually tell. That is a fact. So that if you're being coached and you're learning to coach, there is nothing better than learning at the front end, because then you take that, you can't help but absorb it. Then you take it into your own workplace. And I remember once working with someone who kept talking about their job. Now they owned the place and their job, and I happened to say, sorry, I mistook. I thought you were the CEO. And because they were in a small business, they were like, well, no, I'm not the CEO. I own the place. Well, you're the CEO. I've got news for you. If you own it, you are the CEO. You know, this is your business. But you keep talking about your job. And it's that shift in mindset from, this isn't a job anymore. This is actually your business to take to the next level and actually have other people come with you.
Yes. Most definitely. Now, look, we've covered off these 6 steps. So I'm just going to reiterate what they are. So step number 1, decide what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Step number 1. Step number 2, write a checklist of what you want from your coach. Step number 3 is to do your research. Step number 4, prepare well for your interviews. Step 5 is to conduct those interviews, and then step 6 is obviously it's a follow-up. Now, we've covered these off in you know, really quickly today in the period of time that we have had everybody. If you want more information about this, Max has also put together a really great checklist. I'm going to pop into the chat box here where you can get that from. So just bear with me 2 seconds. And Mags, whilst I'm doing that, perhaps you can share with everybody how they can also connect with you, because there'll be people after this blab who will want to connect with both you and I, and we're happy to take this conversation offline. So if you feel like you want to have a bit of a chat with us offline, feel free to connect with Mags at
you can actually do Facebook, where it's Creating Powerful Results. That is creating, because my accent being so Aussie can get in the way. Creating Powerful Results. You'll find me on Facebook. Mags Bell on LinkedIn and also on Twitter, as well as creatingpowerfulresults.com. So any of those mediums, you'll find me, you'll find all sorts of information there. And at the end of the day, the guidebook that I put together really for everyone, the 6 critical steps you need to take before you hire a coach. That's what we'll share today, so that you have that. And for those who actually download that, there's also a special offer on the book where you can get it for half price with no postage and packaging either. So you can actually, if you go through to if you click through and download the book, download the guidebook on the 6 critical steps, then you actually get the offer of the book as well.
Okay, so I've just popped that in the chat box, everybody. So that's, again, just to receive Mags's free giveaway, which is the 6 critical steps you need to take before you hire a coach. It does go into detail about what we've spoken about today and gives you a checklist. So, print that off and use that to help you determine, A, is coaching right for you? B, what sort of coach do you need? And then C, to get on and get somebody, on your team that's going to help you to accelerate your performance in 2016. Mags has shared with you her Facebook handles and where you can find her on Twitter. You can also find myself on both on Twitter, so Tracey Wilson, and also Business Beyond 5, so at Business Beyond and the number 5. My website, which you can also find some additional tools and resources that will help you build and grow a better business, can be found at, I'm just going to pop that in the chat box too, www.businessbeyond and the number 5.com. Feel free to go and have a look there. You'll also find all of our previous blabs that we have, that we've recorded. They're all there in the video tab. So, go and have a bit of a look around there and watch some of those. I'm sure there'll be other additional things that you'll find very, very useful. The other offer that I'd like to make today too is that we have a bite-sized action call that we also like to offer our potential clients. So just spend 15 minutes with us on the phone. If it is, you're not quite sure, what are these things? You're not sure, what sort of coach do I need? What questions do I need to ask? Trace, can you help me with that? Give me a call. I'm happy to walk through that for you. Or if you think that we are the right coaching company for you, absolutely want to have a chat with you too to determine whether or not we are the right fit. So if anybody's got any questions today, we did have Janine, I don't know if you're still here. She has a fantastic business up on Mount Tamborine, based here on the Gold Coast of Australia. So for those of you who haven't been to Tea and Niceties yet, go and see what amazing stuff they do up there. But she's a client of mine. Go and see what it is that these guys have been up to and the transformation that their business has had over the last sort of 18 months to almost 2 years now since I've been working with them. And I'm sure that she would be happy to take a phone call if you wanted to have a chat, along with many of both mine and Mags's clients would have no problem at all letting you know what it is that we do for them. So Mags, do you want to add anything before I sort of stop the recording? We will stay online for a little bit longer, but I'll stop the recording shortly. Is there anything that you want to add?
No, thanks very much for you know what I'm like, I'll blab away all day, Tracey. So thanks for inviting me on. I've thoroughly enjoyed having a chat with you, as I always do. And happy, if anybody wants to get in contact, then just info@creatingpowerfulresults.com and ask away anything you wish, anything that we've been talking about today. Quite happy to help you find the right coach for you. It doesn't have to be either of us, it can be anyone. So feel free.
I'm just going to
my last bit, which I always say regardless, which is stay true, stay you. Whoever you are out there, please stay true and stay you. That's where you'll get your best. It'll bring out your brilliance.
Absolutely. Shine them up and, yeah, uncover that brilliance that you already have. I've also just popped in my email address there, guys. So just Tracey with no E at businessbeyond5.com. So again, if you've got any questions and you'd like to email me direct, feel free to do so. I will respond. It will be me, not some outsourced person. I will respond to them personally, and which could be a bit dangerous because I don't know how many emails I'm going to get, but, bring them on. And keep your eyes peeled. We will be having our coaching program, our online coaching program, being launched within the next 6 weeks. So if you are somebody who is starting out in business, who just doesn't quite, might have a skill in a particular area, but not quite sure how to do it all, what things you need to do, then that would be a perfect place for you to start. So we will be working with new to business. And also, if you are an existing business owner who wants to take their business to the next level, then feel free to contact either myself at Business Beyond 5 or Mags at Creating Powerful Results. Both of us would be delighted to help. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. We will be back next week with another exciting guest. I will post it on our Facebook page, so jump on board there and join in the conversation on Facebook too. Back here next Wednesday, 11:30. So bye for now. Thanks very much. You've been watching Tracey Wilson and my good friend Mags Bell, and you've been watching Business Beyond 5 Business Talk Time. Thank you.